Ethiopian Prime Minister shares Nigeria's success story on agri-revolution.
No rally will be allowed under whatever guise.
You must not hold rally in any part of Lagos. Police warns organizers of tomorrow's planned Odua Nation rally.
All the necessary contracts have been awarded. We've already paid about $218 million to them, and we're about to pay them another $100 million. So that will be about $318 million.
Work on the $1.2 billion Kano-Kaduna Rail project to commence within the next 2 weeks. Also tonight, NEMA presents document on disaster risk management for 2021. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I am Jummai Yusuf. Adiola Akame Akere will be joining us from Lagos. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed the conviction that Nigerians are not regretting his administration's back-to-land policy as the focus on agriculture is paying off handsomely. This was while receiving in audience the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Ato Haile Mariam Boshe. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has the details.
The former Ethiopian Prime Minister Ato Haile Mariam Boshe is in Nigeria on the auspices of Alliance for Green Revolution, working to promote the development of agriculture in 16 African countries. He congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari for the achievements attained in Nigeria under his watch, especially in agriculture, saying his organization wants to champion the Nigerian policy at the continental level. The former Prime Minister is of the view that Africa should have a common voice on food self-sufficiency as it is capable of feeding the globe. He said if anything has to change on the continent, it must start with Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari told the former Ethiopian leader that his administration's back-to-land policy was not only deliberate but most ideal, as petroleum could no longer sustain the country, particularly with fluctuating prices. Today, as the president explained, Nigerians eat what they grow, and the country has stopped importation of many food products. Agriculture, he also said, helps the country to generate employment opportunities for those in need, especially the youth. Already, the president maintains some people are even leaving the offices to go back to the land, and so far, there are no regrets whatsoever. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed formal appreciation to the Islamic Republic of Pakistan for remaining faithful and consistent in supporting Nigeria, particularly in the training of the armed forces personnel. The president stated this while receiving the Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff of Pakistan, General Nadeem Razak. He said Nigeria has benefited a lot from the long-standing military cooperation with Pakistan, as some of his colleagues in the military also trained in the Asian country. The president therefore expressed Nigeria's appreciation to Pakistan for its continued assistance to the country. The chairman, Pakistani Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Nadeem Razak, who described Nigeria as the most important country in Africa, said Pakistan also learns and benefits from the existing relationship which it values so much. Abuja CDS on Nigeria-Pakistan military ties. Nigeria and Pakistani militaries are closing ranks to address terrorism and other crimes affecting the two countries. The collaboration is coming at a high security engagement between the Chief of Defense Staff, General Loki Irabo, and the Pakistani chairman of Joint Chief of Staff, General Nadeem Razak, who is on a working visit to Nigeria.
I also believe that Pakistan stands a good ground for us to improve on our defense, production capabilities.
The second area of cooperation which we can offer you and which I feel there is a lot of scope is the training. The training, not only the conventional training, but the training in the specialized forces, as well as the training regarding the counter-terrorism.
In a related development, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, had a similar bilateral military engagement with the Senegalese Inspector General of Armed Forces, Major General Dauda Niang.
The experience and the expertise of the Nigerian military in various fields.
General Lucky Irabo later hosted the visiting Pakistani chairman of Joint Chief of Staff, General Nadim Raza, and the Senegalese Inspector General of Armed Forces to Edina. The Department of State Services has advised Sunday Igboho to present himself to security agencies as soon he will not have a hiding place. This was when the DSS paraded 12 of his guards for stockpiling arms and determined to undermine public order. Francis Form reports.
The arrests and seizures are no doubt a confirmation of a grand plan by Igboho and his cohorts to wage a violent insurrection against the Nigerian state.
Acting on a credible intelligence, a joint team of security operatives approached the residence of Igboho at Soka in Ibadan. The team were allegedly attacked by his suspected guards, armed with AK-47 guns.
Alert foreign missions and licensing authorities within and outside Nigeria about this development and the possibility that Igboho could declare some of his personal permits and identity cards missing in order to seek their replacement. But this will be the end of his shenanigans. Soon, he will not have a hiding place. His strength will sure fail him, and the law will catch up with him.
Items recovered from the suspects include 7 AK-47 rifles, 3 pistol guns, 5,000 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, charms, amongst others. 5 of the AK-47 assorted rifles recovered from the suspects are suspected to be those collected by Igboho and his men from the Nigerian customs and immigration personnel at Idi Iroko in Ogun State. Frank says from NTA News.
And organizers of the planned Odua Nation mega rally slated for June 3rd in Lagos must shelve the plan and steer clear of any part of the metropolis. Lagos State Commissioner of Police Hakeem Odumosho stated this while fielding questions from journalists on the proposed rally in Lagos. Musa Toliat was there and brings in this report.
Commissioner of Police Hakeem Odumosho said, based on intelligence gathered by the police command, disgruntled elements have perfected plans to infiltrate the ranks of the protesters and cause mayhem during the proposed Yoruba Nation mega rally slated to hold simultaneously in 18 locations across the metropolis.
The State Police Command hereby warns that no rally will be allowed under whatever guise in any part of the state. So the command therefore warns the organizers and their followers against staging the planned rally and stay clear of streets of Lagos.
He hinted that information at the disposal of the police command also revealed that a group led by one Elewiomo, a transport union leader in Oyo State, is also warming up to unleash reprisal attack on Sunday Igboho's group to avenge the death of one of his followers allegedly killed by Igboho's group in Lagos. CP Odumosho therefore warned that the command will not fold its hands and allow a repeat of 2020 violent EndSARS protest, which led to massive destruction of lives and property in Lagos State.
The command will not be cajoled by the so-called organizers that the rally will be peaceful.
You have a right to protest, but the timing is not right.
In Lagos, Musa Tolian, NTA News.
To other matters now, the United Nations has put together a panel that will review the operational standard of digital media, which will be shared with all member states for safe operation and usage of the new media. United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed said this when she was hosted by the Minister of Information and Culture in Abuja. Adebola Brooks and Sunday reports.
The new media, which no doubt has been a blessing to mankind in the area of information dissemination, has also come with its negative impacts, such as hate speech and fake news. Hosting the Deputy UN Scribe, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said fake news and hate speech have been the tools used by enemies of the states who are out to cast aspersions on the achievements of the present administration.
We discovered recently about 476 online publications that are devoted daily to promoting fake news about this administration and about Nigeria. Despite this, the government has continued to make a lot of, progress, be it in railway, be it in roads or roads, rails or bridges.
On the suspension of Twitter in Nigeria, Lai Mohammed said it's for the good of the country.
And that nobody will use his platform to promote insurgency or promote insecurity. And this is the understanding we crave from the international community.
Young people, this is the way they communicate. With every right, there is an obligation. And I think that what we have to do is to better educate. We have to set norms and standards which will allow an enabling environment where communication can happen in a way that does no harm.
For Amina Mohammed, an amicable resolution is key, and the UN is ready to support the ministry in the actualization of its set goals.
We have a platform called Verified because we were alarmed at the hate speech that was going around the world, and maybe we can share with you how we came about putting that framing in place, and the UN here can add to the solutions that you're looking for to balance this equation.
Amina Mohammed, who urged media practitioners to play within the rule, described free media and freedom of speech as the software that explains how people can invest in any country. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Now, professing peace is not enough, but practical steps towards achieving peace and unity is the way to go. This is the submission of speakers at an international summit on peace and unity of Nigeria convened in Abuja with the theme, Promoting Peace Within Our Borders. Benny Adams reports.
We all hope for a state of harmony across our borderlines. In every crisis around the world, children suffer the most.
Little Halima understands what it means to live in constant fear. So also is Bulama Mohammed, who barely understands the dividends of peace in the last 10 years. Ugochukwu, on the other hand, cannot call anywhere else home but the north, but feels threatened by the cacophony of separation. They are all saying, enough of the talk shops, it's time to act.
There is something northern Nigeria brings to the table. There is something southern Nigeria brings to the table. And if you take that away, you are no longer talking about Nigeria.
The host, Stephen Midala, a victim of insurgency, says, beyond the 3-day fiscal meeting, a website is available for the peace dialogue to continue. He calls on all aggrieved persons across the country to join in the conversation for sustainable peace and economic prosperity of the country.
Growing up in Nigeria in the 80s, I used to have friends from all over the Federation, from Benin, from Lagos, from Port Harcourt, and they follow me to Berikida for Christmas.
The conversation is centered on the theme, Promoting Peace Within Our Borders. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
For their contributions to restoring peace and security in the country, some individuals and groups have received awards of recognition. Abdullahi Muhammad reports that a compendium of national security was unveiled to the public at the event.
Nigeria has no doubt been recording remarkable successes in dealing with insurgents and some elements bent on destabilizing the country, thanks to prudent information management and support from individuals. For those making the sacrifices, it's harvest time. The wife of the Inspector General of Police, Hajia Hajar Baba Al-Kali, supported by the members of the Police Officers' Wives Association, was on the podium.
And the award goes to my humble husband and the entire police officers of Nigerian and my immediate members that of the Police Officers' Wife Association, and every member that is present here and those that are even at home, the award goes to them directly.
After receiving the NTA Director General's Award, NTA's Director News joined dignitaries to present to the public a publication which guides the public in providing intelligence to keep the peace. Abuja, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
We'll take a short break. When we return, more reports. Don't go away.
Mr. Kaku like to Kaku. Every day must do Kaku. Yeah. If you want me, go Kaku. If you want me, go Kaku. Every time he like to reason. Even free things, he go bad easy. Glow is there for you in every season. You don't have to over easy. Glow, better get that. Glow, oh that better. Glow, better get that. Glow, oh that better. Glow, better get that.
You don't have to be a Mr. Kaku when it comes to data. Get a Glow MiFi for 12,000 Naira and get up to 60 gigabytes data free.
The federal government of Nigeria has extended the conduct of vaccination for the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Both the second dose and the reopened first dose vaccination will now close on 5th July 2021. This means the nationwide phase 1 COVID-19 vaccination will end on 5th July 2021. To receive full protection against COVID-19, Nigerians 18 years and above who had their first dose on or before the 5th of May 2021 should urgently visit the nearest vaccination site to receive the second dose. Nigerians who took their first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine outside the country and now eligible for the second dose can visit the nearest vaccination post in Nigeria and get vaccinated with the second dose. After you have been fully vaccinated, continue to observe COVID-19 prevention protocols such as wearing a mask in public, washing your hands regularly, and maintaining social distance. COVID-19 vaccination is free, safe, and effective. For more information and to find your nearest vaccination site, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
Here today, gone tomorrow. Cause you volatile like the water. And you promise what you don't know. Sometimes it's right and then it's so wrong. Them go do like say them why. Will promise you the world. Brother all now worship. Up all of the open eye. I see no feel water. Like you the letter.
Smartphone network.
I dey look for pension fund administrator. Where soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. You no go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment. Everything is just a blend. If you know what's good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow. The Federal Ministry of Information and Culture cordially invites the general public to a town hall meeting. Theme is Protecting Oil and Gas Infrastructure. Date, Monday, July 5th, 2021. Time is Fridays, 10 a.m. Venue is NAF Conference Center, Abuja. Chief host, the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. Panelists include Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Silva, Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, Honorable Minister of Environment, Dr. Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, Announcer, Dr. Mrs. Ifoma Adaora Anyawutaku, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Come, let's discuss the progress of our nation.
Welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari has given approval for the African Continental Secretariat for the African Peer Review Mechanism to commence the process of validation of the country's peer review. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, disclosed this when he received the review mission team in Abuja.
Somebody has to take the lead. And I believe after we've been reviewed, all the other countries in West Africa will desire to be reviewed. There's nothing to be afraid of. Because we believe collectively we have a responsibility in building a continent that will cater for its people. That's the most fundamental thing, a continent that will cater for its people.
Dr. Abdullahi Jani applauded President Muhammadu Buhari for his support to the program, assuring that the peer review would be carried out in line with international best standards.
We hope other countries in the region will benefit from Nigeria's experience. And, this is a peer review process, so we learn from each other. So the fact that you're doing it now and so on would inspire others, would teach them. So very proud of you, and we thank the President and all of you.
The African Peer Review Mechanism was established by the African Union in 2003 for the adoption of policies, standards and practices that entrench political stability, high economic growth, sustainable development and social integration at sub-regional levels. Now, all is now set for the commencement of work on the $1.2 billion Kano-Kaduna standard gauge rail project. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, who stated this at the State House media briefing, said President Muhammadu Buhari is to flag off the construction work within the next 2 weeks. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
All the necessary contracts have been awarded. We've already paid about $218 million to them, and we're about to pay them another $100 million. So that will be about $318 million. We believe that by the time we get the loan, we should, from the budget, have funded up to $600 million, between $500 and $600 million. So that should be able to take the project nearly halfway before the funds will come. Because if we continue to wait for the loan, whether from China or Europe, we may likely not complete it before we go.
Transportation Minister Rotimi Amechi also explained that everything needed to be done regarding the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri standard gauge rail project has been finalized.
We are funding Port Harcourt Maiduguri from the budget too. We've paid them, may not be up to $100 million, but if we release some more money to them before December, it should be able to get to up to $100 million. And then the contract is $3.020 billion for now, because we have not included Oka and Abakaliki, but they'll be included. The only problem we have with Port Harcourt Maiduguri is the issue of supervising engineers, and nobody can work until the supervising engineer signs off on your drawing. So it affects Kano Maradi. We are ready to go with Kano Maradi. We are also stuck in Itabewari. We won't be stuck in Kano Kaduna because the due process has been approved a long time.
He said apart from the coastal rail line expected to connect major cities of the country, the Buhari administration is also committed to the construction of deep sea ports in parts of the country towards enhancing the nation's economy.
There are 3 basic seaports that this government intends to start. I don't know if we'll finish it. The one we are going to finish, whether they like it or not, is the Lekki Deep Seaport. right? And that would be the first seaport in Nigeria. Then he has also approved the Bonny Deep Seaport, which will commence as soon as we commence the construction of the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line. Then Warri Deep Seaport is the same thing that the agreement between us and the contractor who will do from Itape to Abuja.
The minister is, however, worried over the activities of vendors now threatening the desired safety, stability, and sustainable growth in the railway subsector of the economy.
They move from silly narrow gauge to standard gauge, brand new tracks. That is dangerous. We caught a Chinese company in Jos buying from them. Then the next few months, we arrested the Chinese man with other people at Nasarawa, got in directly. They got away with 200-something thousand naira fine. I think the law should do much more than that.
The vandals, he emphasized, must also be dealt with in a similar manner. The security agencies are confronting other criminal elements in the society. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
As plans for next year's budget begins to gather pace, the National Economic Council has endorsed the 2022-2024 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, which was presented to it at an emergency meeting of the council. Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, Lao Lo Akande, says the council updated its focus on the reports of the state judicial panels set up across the country after last year's SARS protest. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, who also served as the chairman of the National Economic Council, urged states where the panels are still sitting to send interim reports. The federal government of Nigeria is expanding the windows of opportunities for youth and women to be self-reliant. Correspondent Emmanuel Akila reports that this development is as a result of the establishment of Skills Acquisition Center and classroom blocks in collaboration with Gombe State government.
A moment of joy to the youths and women of Gombe State for the establishment of a center by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals and the Gombe State government to provide them a platform for innovation that will change their lives for better.
Indeed, Nigerian government has remained committed to the attainment of SDG, which also align perfectly with the cardinal objective of President Muhammadu Buhari administration, which is economy, fight against corruption and security.
For Gombe State, the coming of the center is an impetus to its dreams of industrialization.
While coming here, you saw happiness, you saw joy, and you saw the passion with which they want to utilize this place. And that we shall keep and sustain so that by, inshallah, the end of this tenure, our young men and women would have acquired the skills that they need to advance the course of their lives.
The youths are happy that the government is lifting them out of poverty.
This has brought progress to us in Gombe State, and we are happy about it. We shall learn trade from here that will help us so that we can support our families.
The center is named after the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed.
This skills acquisition is for young people, it's for women. It is not only an education that one wants, but when there is not a job, if you yourself are trained to get the job from the market, from the opportunities of your state, you will not be idle.
The Skills Acquisition Center and a block of classrooms are designed and equipped in such a way that theories are put into practice for immediate results. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Omar Farouk, has reiterated the federal government's determination to alleviate poverty among Nigerians through various social intervention programs. She was speaking at a stakeholders meeting on the National Homegrown School Feeding Program held in Gusau, Zamfara State capital. Haliru Muhammad Umar completes the report.
Meeting with stakeholders on the homegrown school feeding program by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, was aimed at reviewing the challenges, successes and prospects of the social intervention in Zamfara State. The minister, who commended Zamfara State government and focal persons for supporting the program, said the federal government is committed to getting as many Nigerians as possible out of poverty through social interventions. Some officials of the program who welcomed the meeting called for full implementation of resolutions and recommendations made towards the effective running of the program in the state for better results. In the meantime, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, has distributed engagement letters and some devices to trained independent monitors who will closely monitor all federal government's social intervention programs.
This is a program that kicked off in February, where these selected monitors were trained, and in April this year we also started the distribution of the engagement letters and the devices for these people to move to the field and monitor the programs.
For a State Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Faika Ahmed, thanked the federal government for initiating people-oriented programs while calling on beneficiaries to take advantage of them. In Gusau, Halil Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has presented to the public a document on disaster risk management implications of 2021 and seasonal climate predictions annual outlook as part of deliberate efforts to holistically manage any emerging disaster that may occur. Director General of the agency, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, who presented the document, promised to change the narrative of disaster management for good. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
Every year, flood comes with its peculiarity, and as such, the dynamics of the approach by the National Emergency Management Agency is usually set in motion. The 2021 flood outlook, as released by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, indicate that 121 local government areas in 27 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are expected to experience high probability of flood risks. These working documents, as presented by the NEMA DG, is a documented guidance strategies towards managing flood in 2021.
The document contains recommendations aimed at guiding decision makers at national, state, and local government, as well as community levels, to avert adverse consequences, mitigate disaster risks, safeguard food security.
So this collaborative effort between the two agencies is quite commendable.
The release of the 2021 Disaster Risk Management Implementation Report marks the beginning of a series of events throughout the rainy season, including emergency coordination meetings to review response and mitigation strategies. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
As information communication technology continues to create more fortunes to the populace, the North-East Development Commission is constantly acting in this regard to improve the driven digital technology skills of youth in the North-East region. This is evident as the Commission graduates the second batch of ICT training program in Adamawa State to serve as global models for post-conflict and socio-economic recovery and development. Yusuf reports.
193 participants across the 21 local government areas of Adamawa State are now equipped with ICT skills in the areas of graphic design and smartphone repairs, all in an effort to boost local content industry with a view to stimulating wealth creation and environmental sustainability. The participants, after going through 10 weeks training, have been empowered with startup packs and are now said to improve on their socio-economic being.
I specialize in smartphone repairs, and in my local community there is no one single shop that will have such businesses. So it's my plan and dream that I should have one.
Yes, I intend personally to bring up some of my peers and some younger ones.
General Manager, Finance and Accounts, Mahmoud Adam Kambari, who stood in for the Managing Director, North-East Development Commission, Muhammad Goni Alkali, says the gesture is a deliberate attempt to make the youth active drivers in the economy of the 21st century and promote economic growth and development.
This is our own small way to see that we are empowering.
Governor Amadou Umaru Fintri, represented by Commissioner of Entrepreneurship Development, James Elias, said government will partner and support the graduates to add on their skills for the good of all.
Without empowering you on the learning of being on our side.
The Northeast Development Commission has so far successfully rolled out 2,400 participants in the region from the ICT training program. In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
For more on Network News tonight, Adiola is in Lagos. Hello, Adiola. It's good to see you.
Hello, Jummai. It's good to see you too. Now, the Petroleum Industry Bill has suffered several setbacks over the years in previous assemblies. With its passage finally by the Ninth Assembly, what is its importance and profit to an average Nigerian? Annie Daniels has the details.
The Petroleum Industry Bill journey began in year 2000 with various administrations working for its passage. Its passage by the Ninth Assembly, energy experts say, is a welcome development.
The jinx about the bill, passage of the bill had been broken, and this was the way the presidency put it. It's now left to the operators of both in the private and the public sector to make the best of the bill.
It's going to bring in the kind of investments that will actually add to the economic changes we will expect in the country. If the system is brought such that we have so abundance of it in the country, where the demand and the supply will almost be at par, or probably supply will even be much more than demand, it becomes competitive.
These energy experts say the bill will put an end to bureaucratic bottlenecks. The Ninth Assembly also pegs operational costs for host communities at 3%, and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is to be unbundled.
This is one of the areas for which there will still be some harmonization. There are some other areas that will still call for harmonization between the two houses of National Assembly. So one will expect that in the coming days, they will set up a committee to do this harmonization and clean up the bill.
The bill is expected to be scheduled for third reading and final passage, and afterwards referred to the President for assent. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
The ramp connecting Ijora to Akpongmo end of the Eko Bridge in Lagos will be closed by midnight Friday. This, according to the Federal Controller of Works in Lagos, Olukayode Popola, is to allow for repair works on the expansion joints linking the two ramps around Igbori. Adeniyi Taiwo tells us more.
In just 4 weeks, about 35% of the repair work proposed for Eko Bridge have been completed, as 3 out of the 5 expansion joints between Akpongmo and Alaka end of the bridge have been fixed.
I've seen the expansion joints that are in place, and you have seen the bearing that will replace. That's to tell you that the contractor will deliver this job before the 10 weeks that we said we are going to work on this close and then open it to the traffic.
The Ijora ramp conveying vehicles from Apapa inbound Alaka Stadium will, however, be closed effective midnight Friday to make this happen.
All the vehicles that are coming from Ijora, they meet at a point with the vehicle coming from Agbegba. So the expansion joint after that point is what we want to now replace. So as a result of that, the 2 bridges will now be affected.
We have to close it today so we can tomorrow start lifting. Everything is ready. We don't close unless we are ready.
During the closure, vehicles from Ijora are expected to use the coasting ramp and navigate through Ikmori to connect the stadium road. Meanwhile, work has not stopped under the bridge as engineers are replacing bearings around expansion joints. This is the Ikmori end of the Eko Bridge, where repair work is currently going on expansion joints. What is happening behind me is what the engineers call pier jacketing. Pier jacketing is an attempt to thicken the pier, which is bearing the weight of the deck upon which we have vehicles moving. The Eko Bridge was first constructed in 1975. In Lagos, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
Those are stories from here. Another round of reports will come your way after this time out. Please stay with us.
Yes, but how? Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean? I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years. Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains remover. Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergent and bleach. Wow!
This withdrawal will take place under this administration.
Well, I don't want you to conclude on me.
All right, so
yes, we actually would like to, but you have also mentioned something very important.
Right.
Mentioned the issue of palliatives.
Right. Oil and gas under the Buhari administration. That's on one with the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources.
People don't realize in Nigeria that a gas cylinder has a manufacture date and an expiry date. So a lot of expired cylinders were also brought into the country.
One on One, Friday, 10:30 p.m. on NTA.
You're welcome back. Violence against women during elections and the perceived non-inclusion of women in the mainstream politics by political parties are major concerns for the Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Tallen. And to address these issues, the minister led a delegation of women to INEC headquarters for possible areas of collaboration. Mayor Ogidi reports.
Active and visible are the polling booths, but almost invisible in the governance circle. That is the story of the Nigerian woman. This figure in the 2019 voter register shows their number. Female veteran politicians on the move to reinvent the political wheels for more inclusion, and INEC's involvement may hasten the process.
If INEC being the umpire to advise our political parties, this can be one of the conditions that unless gender equality comes to play, registration will not be accepted.
For INEC, talking about inclusivity is like preaching to the converted.
Then the converted needs to go for evangelism.
We'll continue to encourage parties to also ensure affirmative action, particularly in the nomination of candidates for elections. On violence, the best way to tackle this problem is to enforce the laws of this country. We are not penalizing offenders enough.
While INEC gets involved in the E for She campaign, women must also get involved for the Come and Register for Voters Card campaign. The INEC chair reminds the women in a lighter note. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
The chairman of All Progressives Congress 2021 Anambra Governorship Primary Appeals Committee, Governor Muhammad Inuwa Yahya, has appealed to aspirants that participation in last Saturday's primary election to demonstrate the true spirit of sportsmanship as Democrats and accept the outcome of the party's appeal committee in good faith. Addressing journalists after the committee's meeting at the Buhari House National Secretariat of the APC, Governor Inuwa Yahya wants party members to respect the outcome of the primary election as an important pre-election process and urged them to work in unity for the party's success during the November 6 governorship election. He said the appeals committee will do justice to the 5 petitions it has received.
We've strategized, and worked towards getting any issues that arose out of that election in contention for discussion, dialogue, and a solution. And I think we've already gotten petitions from the candidates, and we shall trace them and find solution to all claims or observations made by the contestants. 5 petitions are with us right now, and we're given time within which we shall conclude with them.
The National Secretary, John James Apanu-Diodehe, inaugurated the Appeals Committee on behalf of the Governor May Malabuni-led Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Committee. Felicia is in our Jos studio for more on Network News. Hello, Felicia. Good evening.
Hello, Jummai. Welcome to Jos. Federal government says it's resolved to reposition the fire service to world standard is to stop further loss of critical national assets to fire. The Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aribishola, stated this in a message to the Conference of National Council on Fire in Jos. Rich Stephen Hockey has the reports.
Fire safety management dominates discussion at the 11th National Council Conference of Fire. This is in view of the challenge facing firefighters during operations and vandalism of firefighting assets, as well as loss of critical national assets for the Ministry for Interior. Fire safety management has become imperative for national development.
The case of allied offices burned down across the country come to mind. Many of these offices may not have suffered the losses experienced if we had a robust fire safety and rescue management in place. In the nature of their functions, that is preventing the outbreak and controlling it when it happens, that will go a long way in, helping people to be aware and helping people to be prepared.
There are challenges for us to carry out that statutory duty. Those challenges were looked at during the technical session, which include possibly formation of volunteer firefighters, special fire marshals, wardens, and fire police.
We are making a call to strengthen, to also buy combatant, modern firefighting equipment in all our states.
The conference ended with a call for sufficient repositioning of the service. In Jos, Ruth Stephen Hockey, NTA News.
In continuation of peace process in Plateau State, critical players in Riom and Jos South local government areas have agreed to work towards lasting peace for meaningful development. This was at a meeting with Operation Safe Haven and other stakeholders. Ndayan and Dayabe Gang reports.
The meeting is coming on the heels of incessant killings in the 2 local government areas, necessitating the need to reconvene, fashion out a memorandum of understanding and ways to maintain peace. Both parties made and submitted their documents to ensure peace reigns in their domain.
All restricted areas and no-go areas for all should be dismantled.
Report of the Peace and Reconciliation Committee of 2015, we are convinced that largely issues raised therein are still relevant and applicable today.
The Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Dominic Oyemelu, says they are committed to pursuing their mandate.
The issue has been thrown back to you people. The need for you to interact among yourselves and then use the traditional mechanisms that you have been using all along to ensure peace and security in your area.
Peace work is not an event. It is a process that needs to be nurtured.
At the end of the second phase of the stakeholders meeting, the need to arrest perpetrators and bring them to book was re-echoed in Jos, Indenyan, and the Abuja. NTA News.
That does it from Jos. Jummai is back to you in Abuja for what's left of the news.
Thank you so much, Felicia. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Finally, Euro 2020 is here. Enjoy all the matches live on Star Times for only 1,700 Naira monthly or 160 Naira per day. Recharge now to enjoy all the matches. Watch Cristiano Ronaldo of Portugal, Mbappe of France, Lukaku of Belgium, and other top European football stars. No matter where you are, Star Times is here for you. You can enjoy all these matches on your mobile phone. Just download Star Times on app on your phone to watch all the matches for 1,000 Naira monthly or 400 Naira weekly. Recharge today with 1,700 Naira monthly or 160 Naira daily. That's right, you heard me. On Star Times, you can watch all the matches with monthly subscription of 1,700 Naira or daily subscription of 160 Naira. Terms and conditions apply. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Thanks for rejoining us. An outbreak of a disease suspected to be cholera has claimed about 10 lives across 3 local government areas of Jigawa State. Hawa Haliru Haruna reports that Hadejia is the worst hit by the disease with 5 deaths recorded.
The Jigawa State Ministry of Health confirmed the outbreak in Dusi with 160 cases and 3 deaths recorded, 47 cases in Hadejia and 17 cases in Miga areas. The reported outbreak in Hadejia, which affected 3 villages of Chadi, Sabangano and Badaringabas, has been attributed to a leakage of water pipes within Hadejia metropolis.
Here in Chadi village, we have lost 5 lives and more than 8 people are hospitalized. At first, we took 6 infected people to the hospital and were given medications.
The state government agencies concerned with water supply and health delivery say they are not relenting in controlling the disease called gastroenteritis, but not cholera, to avert more casualties. They caution people on strict observance of personal hygiene.
Even though we lost lives, but it is now under control. We have taken samples and we have sent it to the appropriate laboratories for testing to see whether we are really dealing with cholera as we suspect.
Immediately we send the team of our engineers, we rectify, and we find out that there is a problem of leakage. And definitely that there, and then we rectify it.
NTA News observed that the number of affected persons continued to rise as many treat themselves at home. From Dusi, Hawa Halara Haruna, NTA News.
And next is sports update with Bade Adele with the latest in the world of sports.
Of course, Jummai. Welcome to Sports Update. Nigeria's Super Eagles are getting set to take on their Mexican counterparts in an international friendly on Sunday morning. The team, largely made up of home-based players, have already been training at their Los Angeles camp, with the players confident of putting up an impressive showing during their counter. NFF President Amaju Pinnick, during his visit, told the players not to see themselves as the Super Eagles team B. He also promised them that more friendlies will be organized for the team. Away to Euro 2020, where Mikel Oyarzabal was the penalty hero for Spain as they converted the spot kick that sent Switzerland crashing out, with La Roya marching to the semi-finals. After holding Spain to a 1-0 draw through extra time, the Swiss, playing with 10 men, couldn't repeat their feat against France in the last 16 as they lost 3-1 on penalties. Meanwhile, the match between Italy and Belgium is about ending with Italy leading 2-1. Of course, Nicola Barella scored for Italy first. That was in the 31st minute before Lorenzo Insigne doubled their lead with a goal of the tournament contender in the 44th minute, while Romelu Lukaku pulled one back for Belgium. All right, moving on, 2 more semi-finalists are set to emerge on Saturday, with Czech Republic and Denmark facing off in the first match scheduled for 5 in the evening at the Baku Olympic Stadium, Azerbaijan, while Ukraine and England will clash in the other game at the Stadio Olimpico, that's in Rome, Italy. The match will be live on NTA from 7:30 in the evening. And the match between Italy and Belgium just ended. Italy are through to the semi-finals. And on that note, it's back to Jummai.
Thank you, buddy. Well, before we go, a quick check on Saturday's weather prospect. Well, we have no weather. Well, that's network news for tonight. And don't forget to be a star, step up and connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. I am Jummai Yusuf.
Due to the passion, followership, government